I'd like to call to order this regular city. I'd like to call to order this regular city meeting for Monday, March the 16th of 2026. I'd like to remind the audience that this meeting is being recorded and/or taped. I'd like to note that all commissioners are present. Before we begin each meeting, we start with the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight, Commissioner Siemens will lead us in prayer.
Thank you. If you bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to be part of this lovely community and all the people that live here. Please be with us this evening as we work together to make decisions that we hope will make this an even better place to live and reside over the years. If you'll guide us, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Siemens. All right, before we start our meeting, we, of course, have to approve the agenda. The only thing I'd like to add, of course, at the end is an executive session for non-elected personnel. And then Gina or Cody or anyone, is there anything we need to add or take off besides that executive session?
Let's please take off 6.7 regarding the parallel generation regulations. I do have those completed and have worked with Jamie on that. I just need some more time now to draft the ordinance to adopt these new regulations. Some paperwork that just didn't have enough time. We're hoping to get on here, but it will be ready for the next meeting. I won't be there for that though.
Okay, perfect.
Can I just ask, Cody, should the executive session be attorney-client privilege or should it be non-elected personnel?
I would say non-elected would probably be the way to go on it. I mean, yeah, just because that's what we'll be discussing.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for Monday, March the 16th with the addition of an executive session for non-elected personnel and tabling 6.7.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda for Monday, March 16th of 2026 with the addition of an executive session for non-elected personnel and tabling 6.7. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving on to our minutes for Monday, March the 2nd of 2026. Are there any corrections or anything like that, Bree, that we need to put in there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. With that being said, is there any other changes any commissioners saw?
No.
Okay. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from Monday, March the 2nd of 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes for Monday, March the 2nd of 2026. Any other discussions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. All right. On to business. 6.1, consideration of observation well drilling, Phase 1, Kelvin Clay, Water Supervisor.
Good evening. On February the 6th, 2026, the Water Department sent bid requests to several well drilling contractors for drilling 3 2-inch observation wells. Actually, they're 5-inch or 2-inch casings. This work represents the first phase in locating a new water site that will eventually be designated as well number 18. The city will work directly with the city's geologists and EBH engineering during the drilling processes. I have sent out bids. These bids will cover only the first phase of several steps required before selecting a suitable site for drilling a larger production well at one of these 3 locations. The process follows the same protocol used as what we did when we did well 17. I sent out, as I said, 5 bids. The first bid went out to Rosencrantz and Bemis out of Great Bend. They were actually the low bid at $29,477.53. The second place was Sargent Drilling out of Salina. They were $30,200. Clarkwell and equipment out of Great Bend, Kansas was $32,525. Lane Christensen Company out of Wichita did a no bid. Downey Drilling out of Lexington, Nebraska did a no bid. The funds for this project will be paid through capital improvement outlay account 69411402. Once we make this purchase, the remaining balance in this account will be $114,234.91. I recommend the low bid go to Rosencrantz and Bemis Incorporated out of Great Bend, Kansas, in the amount of $29,477.53. I will take questions if you have.
Kelvin, have you used them before?
No, I have not.
Confident in them?
I talked to Mike Younger, EBH. He's
Okay.
used them in the past. He said they're okay.
No question.
A test well doesn't have the same, specifications and complications that, full-on drill well will. And this will give Kelvin the opportunity also to work with a company he hasn't worked with before
Gotcha.
and see how they do.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we approve the bid of Rosencrantz Bemis for $29,477.53 for the observation well drilling.
Second. Go ahead.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the bid from Rosencrantz Drilling for the total of, let me see here, it was what, 29,000, what was that again?
477.
477 and 53 cents?
Yes.
And 53 cents for the observation well drilling. Oh, sorry. Are there any other discussions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next is consideration of property insurance renewal. Scott Strong of Strong's Insurance.
Good afternoon. Before I get into the spreadsheets that you all have, I want to commend Regina and Brianna, and to a little bit lesser degree, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie, but you didn't have to do all the meetings that we had. Regina wanted to understand your insurance program at a deeper level than any public entity I've dealt with in my 40 years as an insurance agent. I just wanted to commend them all. We went through every single policy the city had, and we took off vehicles, we took off physical damage, we redid the inland marine schedule. It was an effort I have never seen put forth before. And we do a lot of cities, school districts, counties, and a thank you to them for their time, to Jamie for the tour of the power plant and all of his input, which was mostly over my head. But you're fortunate to have people that dove into it to that depth.
Thank
We
you,
are.
Scott.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was very
I-
good.
Introduce R.J. Meyer. You might remember him from a year ago, and you all know Willie. To the spreadsheets, there are two. One of Regina's comments to us was, please save us some money. We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, it's a little harder to comply with than that. In our world, there's a trade-off. If you're going to save money, generally you're going to lose coverage somewhere. And that certainly was the case. I'm going to start with that line because it was the power plant. There's always a lot of pain on this line, and if you'll look at the two spreadsheets, you'll notice that the amount of coverage on the 26 policy changed from basically 79.5 million down to a little over 46 million. That change was the deletion of the steam plant location from the policy. I know that that generator is going to be retired relatively soon. And as you can see from the premium, which dropped from 166,000 and change to 99,000, it also carried an enormous amount of premium.
And they actually only have the most recent printout with the coverage removed.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
mine has the higher numbers.
Okay, well, there's two, and that's the difference between the two is the removal
okay.
of that building.
I only have one.
Okay, I'll go make some copies.
Yeah, I only have one also.
Okay, let me, okay. I'll,
So where'd you find this?
yes, sir, you can take,
On that
You
separate
what?
email?
tell you what, here, use
Updated,
these two.
we threw away the old one.
Oh.
Only put
Oh.
the updated one out.
I didn't see that.
6 or 7, it wasn't provided until today.
I didn't either.
She should have, it's not in the packet. She
No, they
sent
were
that on
both-
Sunday. No, I'm sorry.
They were both provided today.
Yeah, we
That's
sent them
right.
out today.
I was looking at a different email.
We were scrambling to get the underwriter to give us numbers.
And we just spoke with them last week and gave them some more stuff to work on.
And we got all but one, well, the underwriter didn't get one, and I'll get that.
Yeah.
But that is the deletion of that building essentially is a $67,000 savings to the city. The downside is that building is no longer on the policy and no longer insured.
So if I could explain, Power Plant 1 was built in the early 1900s. It is all brick and mortar, and it's 30,000 square feet. It's big. I don't think that a tornado will ever blow it over, but if it did, well, Jamie said if there's ever a tornado in town, he's gonna go to the power plant because he thinks that that's the one building in town that will withstand a tornado. But if it ever does get blown over, there's no way we will rebuild a 30,000 square foot brick and mortar building. We would put up a metal building, which would cost substantially less, but we're required to insure it at replacement value, which is, it's just unsustainable because we would never replace it
Yeah,
as it is.
that's the number that's different. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's why and we went back and forth. Right now, it still does house the steam unit. The steam unit is likely to continue to be in use for another year. So what you guys need to determine is, do we remove the building from the policy
Thank you.
now, or do you want to wait a year when the steam unit is fully retired, knowing that we're going to retire it?
Yes, I think we want to remove it.
Yeah, I would think.
Say again.
Do we want to remove the building from the policy since we're already going to remove it?
It's a savings of $66,000 a year to remove it.
Correct.
It's a lot of money.
And to further clarify, the equipment breakdown policy that we currently have with Chubb is not a part of this discussion. That is a separate line item. That policy stays in force. So should a mechanical issue happen to that steam unit, we still have insurance for that. It's just the acts of God, essentially, as Regina explained, wind being the biggest offender. Okay. While you digest that, I'm going to go to the property line. There was a 4% change in your limit due to inflation, building materials, et cetera. A premium change of 11%, so the net property increase was 7. Quite a bit lower than what we've been seeing. Property rates have, they may not be flat, but they're certainly not going up at the same rate they have been. A little good news. The power plant, of which we discussed, you'll see the limit went up 8.32%. Total premium on that line went up 14.4. This illustration is if you leave it on. So you had a net, basically a 6% rate on that building. The Chubb policy, which is the equipment breakdown on all of your power buildings and the generators therein, was flat. No change in limit, no change in premium. The general liability was up 5%. Your linebacker, which covers you and the employment practices exposure, was up 8. Law enforcement was up 7. The crime did not change. The inland marine was up 10%. The auto was up 4%. The workers' compensation. This one was quite a challenge. Your experience modification, which was 0.78 last year, went up to 1.21. One of the single biggest jumps I've seen year over year. The mathematical equation to figure this can't be done with a pen and a paper. It has to be done with a computer. The state of Kansas contracts this calculation out to a company in Florida called NCCI. They do the entire state. So everybody's mod is calculated the same way and the same rules are used. That increase in modification took your premium up almost $65,000 on the workers' compensation line. EMC, despite the change in mod, gave a 20% premium credit. That reduced the damage down to $19,800 to your premium. I have been critical of insurance companies in the past, so when they do somebody a solid favor like EMC just did, I need to applaud them. They did not have to do that. They chose to do that. So that helped the city out in $40,000 plus, or almost $40,000.
We had 2 employees last year that were long-term on workman's comp, and that's what changed the factor.
Okay.
So that was well done, EMC. The umbrella premium went up 5.67%, which brings us to the only real recommendation we have for you to consider, and that is a $1 million umbrella is fairly low for a city of this size. We asked EMC to quote higher limits, but they did not have that done prior to this meeting, and I apologize for that. They got everything else done we wanted, but that's the one that didn't get done. Two-edged sword. I will tell you, 3 or 4 years ago, we would get 1 or 2 letters a year from those attorneys you see on TV all the time, coming after one of our clients. Now we get 1 or 2 every month. And basically they say, we want X number of millions of dollars or however much insurance you have. So should the city have more protection? In our opinion, yes. The other side of this equation is, as long as you didn't cause an accident that involved some type of alcohol or drug violation on the part of your driver, or the wanton reckless driving citation, generally they'll settle for however much insurance you have. You just have to balance the fiduciary responsibility you have to protect the voters with that calculus. What will they do? We will get Regina those numbers, and I know that Regina's not exactly an advocate for this per our discussion, but she did let me know that we could present this to you, at least check this box off our Ian exposure list.
The reason I'm not an advocate, you know I'm a lawyer. You know, lawyers often will settle very quickly for the amount of your insurance. And so, as an advocate for the city, if we have a higher level of settlement, you know, so if our umbrella policy is $1 million, we settle for $1 million, then our, the way that the insurance premium will go up will be much lower than if we settle for $5 million because our umbrella policy is $5 million. Then it goes up substantially more. And so it is a tug and pull. I respect Scott's, you know, thoughts and expertise. He's the subject matter expert. Scott, a city the size of Pratt, which is 6,800 people, what do you think is adequate coverage for an umbrella policy?
Okay, this sounds overly simple, but I always use a sleep test. If you wonder at night when you go to bed, did I do right by the city by having a $1 million umbrella? Then the answer is no, you don't have enough insurance, and if you think you're good, then you're good. Based on other cities that we insure that are of this size, most of them have at least 2 and most of them 3, some 5. The other issue at hand, and I'm not an attorney, and you've got two in the room. There's a lot of holes being punched in the Kansas Tort Claims Act, which you guys have, which is a real reason to not carry more umbrella coverage. But there was a hole punched through by what happened in Barber County and Sun City. I don't know how that managed to get escalated to federal court, but it did. And I know there's a case in southeast Kansas involving a no-knock warrant that got escalated into federal court. When that happens, you lose the Tort Claims Act protection the state of Kansas gives you. The other area where you lose it is if an accident happens in another state. We insure some cities that are almost on the Oklahoma line. Well, we recommend they buy higher limits of umbrella coverage just because of their geographic location. They're going to have volunteer firefighters that come over for Oklahoma to jump into their fire trucks, or they may have an issue in Oklahoma. So that said, there's several variables, but in our opinion, you should consider $2 or $3 million, which we will get those numbers for you. Your $1 million limit is $20,000. I would guess that the next million would probably be $12,000 to $14,000. It goes down. But we'll get you the numbers because you should make a decision based on a theory.
Scott, our EMC policy renews April 1. We don't have another commission meeting before then.
It can be added at any point in time, and the premium would be prorated.
Okay.
So Bree, can you find us out cities comparable to our size, what they carry? Is that something she can do?
Yeah, we can ask.
Just get 3 or 4. I mean, you don't need to get every single one of them. Just so we got some type of cross-reference.
Do you have any questions for me on what I've presented?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I also want to acknowledge Casey Garton got to sit through all our meetings, and he would be here tonight. He's still part of the team that works on your insurance. But it sounds like he had some family duties related to spring break from I spoke to him today.
He called me like 3 times.
So I wanted to, he's still with us. He's just not here tonight to help us present. The last thing I had is at the end of this year, I'm retiring.
Oh.
Yeah, my wife's thrilled. I think she's thrilled anyway. So that's why RJ's here. RJ came to work for us a few months ago. He's got a lot of expertise. I was going to let him say a few words and give you something, but thank you for letting me take care of your insurance. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I've appreciated it very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioners, for what you do. I know those of you, I think there's a couple of you that were here last year. So I was with my former agency before Scott kind of poached me away, knowing that retirement was on the horizon. So like Scott said, I've got about 15 years worth of experience in this industry, and I had my own agency for about 8 years until I had sold it. So it's been a really great pairing, being able to work with Scott. I told him even when he leaves and shuts the door, he better be ready for some phone calls. So that's he's very much not closed that door. So I look forward to working with all of you, and we do have a dividend check for you as well from EMC. So last year's dividend check was $51,909. This year's dividend check is $67,158. So
Awesome.
Much better dividend check. Regina,
Or me.
or you. Yeah, I mean, here you go.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to take it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kyle's the one who has the face for the camera.
Yeah. So do I?
Suit. He's got the suit.
I look fancy
I
tonight.
don't know what was going on before the meeting, but I was going to say, everybody was kind of razzing him about his suit. So.
I usually wear a polo, so that's why.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice
Okay.
check.
All righty. Moving on now to 6.3, consideration of property destruction and media sanitation policy. Mr. Mike LeClaire of our IT director.
Do we need
yeah,
to
so-
approve the renewal?
I think we're good. Gina?
I mean, yes.
Good question.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we don't have any other options,
Okay.
before you. We do need to have
Insurance.
insurance, and so, I think that it's an assumed every year that, and we budgeted for it,
Okay.
but unless there is an objection to the renewal.
No, I don't think so.
Do they need to take formal action in your opinion, to accept the renewal for EMC?
I have a seat on this, so, but unless there's something in the renewal that says it automatically renews, probably we need some type of, action to show the city that renewal.
Maybe just to renew with Scotch or Strong's Insurance and EMC and Chubb, and then we'll review the premium umbrella policy at a later date.
Okay.
I need to abstain, so.
Is there a motion to approve
Well-
the EMC policy?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the EMC policy and the Chubb policy, and we reserve the right to modify that policy based on
The umbrella.
further.
The umbrella.
The umbrella coverage when we get further information. Is that good? Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the property insurance renewal with Strong Insurance, Chubb, and EMC under the, what was the word you used, Doug?
Well, we have the option to
Okay. and-
modify the umbrella.
And
policy.
with the option to modify the umbrella part of our insurance claim. All right, any other discussions?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Did we second?
Yeah, Brad seconded.
I
Oh,
second
okay,
it.
good. Abstain.
And
Yes.
then abstain. Okay. All right, sorry, Mike.
That's okay.
You're an abstainer.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
So-
I'm so sorry, sir.
So this policy is just for destruction of computer media, so hard drives, anything that has any kind of digital storage on it that could have protected information on it. There wasn't a policy with the city before on destruction of these materials, so Cody assisted me with drafting one up to present. This one is pretty similar to the one that we use at the police department, so I think that it should fit the needs of the city.
Okay. Any discussions about this?
What do you do with it?
For the police department, what I do is I usually save them up until I have quite a few of them, and then I usually bring them to the hospital and crush them in the drive crusher there, and then log the serial numbers, and then take them out for recycling once they're crushed.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the property destruction and media sanitation policy as presented by Mike Leclerc.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the property destruction media sanitation policy as presented by Mike Leclerc. Any other discussions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, 6.4, consideration of updated personal policy manual. Ms. Regina Goff, City Manager.
Thank you. So, Bree and Alita and I and Cody spent many hours a couple of months ago going through line by line the personnel policy. We also received a review of the policy, a comprehensive review of the policy by Forest Roads. We have, he's from Folston Seacon. He is an employment law specialist. And so we implemented, after discussion, all of the recommendations that he had. Cody, do you have any other commentary on the personnel policy or the changes that we made, or?
No, I don't believe so. We've spent an amount of time going through the comments that I think Forrest had some comments on some changes to make. And then we've done some other changes kind of based on just research and things that I had advised on. So I think what is presented before you is the personnel policy fixed a lot of kind of issues that we had ran into with the current policy that just needed to be cleaned up, or some things addressed that policy did not address. My recommendation would be to adopt this policy.
Was there any major changes?
ever was an incident that occurred, it would be easier to show that we were following what the law states because our personnel policy matched the same type of terms and stuff. I mean, the one we had basically reflected what was required by law, but with some of the terminology was a little bit different, but I feel like matching it up to what is currently required is going to make it easier for us if there is an issue, say, look, if we follow what's required by law as well as what our personnel policy states.
A few of the, and I'm going to let Bree mention a few as well, because I think that she's got some on her mind. One of the policies that you would be familiar with, Brad, although it didn't affect your department, is the scheduling of vacation. Previously, the scheduling of vacation, if there was a conflict between two employees, the decision, the previous policy said that the determination will be made up by seniority, and we did change some of that language for, we added factors, you know, the operational coverage needs, whether the employee has already been approved for vacation during a designated holiday peak period in the same calendar year. You know, we just added some other factors to make sure that employees were able to fairly be able to take some vacation every year, because we've had the situation in the past, like when sanitation workers didn't take any vacation at all year long. We didn't want it to just be seniority, we also wanted to add a fairness component to it, so.
Okay.
And then you wanted to mention the baby.
We also added in the paternity opportunity, because previously, if somebody went on, if a spouse was on maternity leave, the father could only utilize vacation. Well, we don't have a lot of situations where we can use our sick leave, and so some of those people lose a lot of that time, and we felt it was fair to give them the opportunity to use their sick leave when a child is born. So it provides up to 10 days of accrued sick leave. So if they have 10 days, they can use 10. If they have 5, then that's their allowable use time. And a lot of it was language changes. And then there was a large addition in the FMLA, which again is in line with federal law on that topic.
Okay.
So down at the bottom where it lists off the changes, it says discretionary leave, new or updated, 2 days of discretionary leave per year after orientation. What was it previously?
2.
It was,
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so there was a probationary period. I thought you were asking how many days of discretionary leave were there. So before there were 2 days of discretionary leave, there's still 2 days of discretionary leave, but we took away the probationary period for employees to have that.
Okay.
So we took away the 6 months. We just give, they just give more time.
I think it was just a language change that, like, Forrest wanted wanted clarification on the language that followed that. I probably have it.
What
in
page are
front
you on, Lonnie? I think I just had it and then I lost it.
Mine doesn't show page numbers.
Okay,
It's
just-
down at the bottom.
I have page 16. Each employee, after the completion of their orientation period, are provided with 2 discretionary leave per year. Discretionary leave must be scheduled through department heads. Do you have the old policy in front of you?
I don't. but
I can pull it up. I can pull up the one that he actually made the changes to and see what the difference was.
So what is discretionary leave as opposed to vacation or paid time off?
it's the same.
Well,
It
you
took
lose
the-
it. It doesn't roll over.
Yeah, it doesn't roll over, and also it took the place of holidays that we didn't normally get.
So instead of having like Ramadan or Hanukkah or, you know, like specifying certain, you know, Juneteenth, things like that, if an employee wanted to take one of those days as their holiday, they could use a discretionary day for that.
Other places will refer to it as floating holidays.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns? Oh, I'm so,
I don't need anything more on it.
Yeah, on the discretionary leave,
The language.
it said he was asking if this was provided on a calendar year basis after year 1, or is it always on the employee's anniversary? And do we use pay for unused discretionary leave at termination? Do we allow for any carryover from year to year? So those were some things I think that were cleaned up in the new policy.
So
standard orientation period.
Okay.
He thought we didn't need it to also say the 6 months.
Oh.
That's all it was. It was removing a sentence or two, and that's it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the updated personnel policy manual that has been given to us by the four of you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the updated personnel policy manual as presented in our packets. Any other discussions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, 6.5, consideration of ordinance 2602, additions of the definitions tobacco shop and head shop to the subdivision regulations. Mr. Cody Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance does exactly that. It's essentially updating these two definitions, or I should say adding these two definitions, and updating the city zoning ordinance, just based on some things that we've run into. We've had some questions about certain businesses in town, and then when looking at the zoning ordinance and the subdivision regulations, we didn't really have anything as far as definitions go that address these matters. So some of the provisions will talk about, use. Tobacco shop, would be a permitted use under certain zoning regulations. But then the question it was, okay, well, what's a tobacco shop? Because that wasn't found in the definitions. So in order to avoid any uncertainty and in order to, be able to enforce our zoning code with uniformity, I was recommended that we needed to have some definitions that address these particular businesses. So this was presented to the Planning Commission. They followed the proper procedure. They noticed it up. There was a hearing on it. I don't believe there was any public comment on it. And they didn't pass anything, but they approved this to be presented to you all. Since it is a change of the actual law, ultimately you as the City Commission has to adopt it. They don't have that power to do so. But they have recommended it to you all to approve for the reasons that I set forth.
Okay.
So the two businesses in town that are closely related to these definitions, what do they fall under? A head shop or a tobacco shop?
Well, I don't want to speak with any certainty or specificity right now, just in case there might be some pending action towards any businesses that may not be in compliance with their zoning code. I think that answer will come into play and will be determined by our zoning administrator, Mr. Walker, in terms of whether or not he thinks a violation has occurred. And then it sets forth in there, basically, if he observes these certain things and these types of definitions, that would be the grounds on which he would classify that particular business.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2602 additions of the definitions tobacco shop and head shop to the subdivision regulations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance 2602, additions of the definitions tobacco shop and head shop to the subdivision regulations. Any other discussions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. Now on to 6.6, consideration of ordinance 2603, proposed subdivision regulation amendment regarding conditional use permits. Mr. Cody Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. Similarly, this is an amendment to our zoning code. We've had some issues with some particular conditional use permits that were granted, whereby afterwards there were situations or there were facts that occurred that led the Planning Commission to no longer want that permit to be issued, or to have some grounds in terms of fixing the issues in relation to it. After, again, looking at the zoning code, while we do have a conditional use permit or a CUP process for issuing these permits, we didn't really have a lot of clear language in terms of what happens, they're issued this permit for this conditional use. What happens if they don't use it for that conditional use? They go beyond the terms that were set forth that they must follow in order to be able to use this permit. So without having clear language in effect, it was my recommendation that we amend our zoning code and put in clear language with respect to revocation, suspension, or modification of conditional use permits. And so that is what this is doing. It's amending that Article 5, Section 5, which addresses conditional use permits, includes or is adding that Section H, addressing the purpose and authority, the reasonable initiation by the official, grounds for revocation or suspension, notice of violation, opportunity to cure. That was another thing that was a little bit unclear. We do need to be able to provide or show that we provided a due process procedure. That wasn't real clear in the current zoning code, so that beefs up the due process so that if it is revoked, we don't have an appeal addressing that matter, and then including the scheduling and notices of a public hearing, and goes to the Planning Commission, and then ultimately would go to the governing body if necessary. So really, it's just providing a nice, clear process in place if a CUP is issued and the licensee does not follow what the Planning Commission set forth, to have that license and giving the city the ability to correct the problem. So I would ask that you approve this ordinance so that we have these provisions in place.
I recommend that we approve ordinance 2603, proposed subdivision regulation amendment regarding conditional use permit as presented by Cody.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance 2603, proposed subdivision regulation amendment regarding conditional use permits as presented by the city attorney. Any other discussions?
Just for the record, again, the Planning Commission noticed it up. We had a hearing on it, followed all proper procedures. Just wanted, since I mentioned that in the first one, I want to make sure I mentioned they did the same exact thing with this particular one too.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. Any other discussions? I'm sorry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Passes. All right. With 6.7 tabled, we will move to 6.8, consideration of ordinance number 2605, amending City Code Section 8.28.030 and 8.320.090 regarding sanitation responsibilities and hazardous waste disposal, and consider approval. Is that for you again, Cody?
Sure, I'll take it.
Okay.
This actually came up when Russ was here. He pointed out, some cleanup items that needed to be done with respect to some of the ordinances that related to the work that he did. One of the things that he pointed out was our city code with respect to hazardous waste. The way it currently reads, it states that we collect hazardous waste, that we have a sanitation department, and that we run a hazardous waste collection program, which we don't. So in order just to make sure it's clear we don't do that type of work, he recommended that we change that, and I agreed. And so it just took a little bit of time with some other projects that kind of leapfrogged over it. But yeah, I would ask that you approve this just to clean up our code to reflect the current services that the city does provide.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2605, amending city code sections 8.28.030 and 8.32.090 regarding sanitation responsibilities and hazardous waste disposal.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance number 2605, amending City Code Section 8.28.030 and 8.32.090 regarding sanitation responsibilities and hazardous waste disposal. Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. And last but not least, 6.9, consideration of ordinance number 2606, amending Title 13 of the City Code regarding municipal water service private well restrictions, connection prohibitions, and source water protection. I guess Cody or Jeff on that one, or
Sure, I can start, and then Jeff has some, more of the on-the-ground specific information about it. But again, this was another thing that started discussions with Russ, and then continued them with Jeff and with Kelvin, is something that we've been working on. Was trying to get as much done as I could while I'm here. So these were things that we've been meaning to check off the list. Essentially, this is amending our current ordinances to make it clear for, really to prevent contamination for our utilities and for health concerns, that we require citizens, any new connections, to use the city water system for potable water where service is available. It prohibits cross connections, which we do have other parts of the code that states that, but it made sense to include that with respect to any new connections as well. It limits private wells to non-potable uses, so it could be used for irrigation, but not for use within the home. It adds some source water protections to, again, protect our system. There's an issue where if someone is hooked up to a well, but also has access to city water, we certainly do not want any well water or any water that may have come up and sat stagnant for some period of time and then getting back into our water system. That's a big part of this and why we need to take action for the health and safety of our citizens. But it also does include a limited grandfather clause for there are certain existing private wells that currently exist. We talked about this, that it probably didn't make sense. Since those systems are in place, they appear to be, there's no issues with them. There's not a lot of them, but that it wouldn't be fair to them to change the law and then force them to, revoke or to completely redo their water system. But again, it's limited. The main thing is if there is a change in ownership, it would lose that grandfather clause, or if they voluntarily reconnect to the municipal water system, or if they abandon that particular system for a period of 180 days, or if they replace the well, or if there is discovery of any prohibited cross connections or contamination risk, or other conditions posing a threat to the public water supply, they would lose that grandfather clause and they would have to go back to only using the city water. So that's essentially what this does, and I guess if there's any more, specific practical questions on how this plays out, I'd leave that to Mr. Shamline to address.
Yeah, and I'll do my best. Kelvin had to leave, so as I read this, the only change that I could see was that the grandfathered clause for potable water, should it change hands, would be canceled, as I read it correctly, right? The non-potable clause would continue on if that property was to change hands.
Correct. Yep. This
Okay.
only applies to
Potable water and or cross-contamination or the lack of use for up to 180 days or in excess of 180 days.
correct.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the broad strokes of what we're doing here.
Yeah, there's no real health issue with folks using well for irrigation purposes. It's whenever it can be cross-contaminated in with our public water supply, that's what this is addressing.
Any other questions? All right. I'll make this motion that we approve ordinance number 2606, amending Title 13 of the City Code regarding municipal water service, private well restrictions, cross-connection prohibitions, and source water protection.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance number 2606, amending Title 13 of the City Code regarding municipal water service, private well restrictions, cross-connection prohibitions, and source water protections. Are there any other discussions? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. All right. At this moment, we'll now move to open public comment. City matters only, 3-minute time limit. The public is allowed to speak on issues or items not scheduled for discussion on the agenda. Comments should be limited to issues and items germane to the business of the governing body. To protect the privacy interest of individual employees and to avoid discussion of matters not appropriate for open session, comments regarding the hiring, discipline, performance, conduct, investigation, resignation, termination, or any other employment status of any specific non-elected city employee will not be permitted during open comment. Speakers may address general city policies, practices, department operations, or service concerns, but not individual personal matters. The Commission will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the Commission make decisions on items presented during this time. Members of the public will be limited to 3 minutes for comments. So, all right, Tammy.
Sound like you were pissed.
Sorry, I just wanted to be
Woo.
clear on all that.
Who's being a teacher?
That's my teacher voice, so I apologize, Tammy.
No, that's fine. I just didn't know it was going to be that lengthy, or I had to stayed in my seat for a while. I just wanted to bring forth to the commission something you may or may not be aware of. But I know the recreation department has this new program going on where they had a camp for kids during the Christmas break, and they've got one going on now. And then the Elks has a separate program where we feed children at risk in the library in our bookworm bistro on those same different time periods. And it was marvelous. It was 11:30 almost on the dot, and there was a marching line of children coming into the library. They all came over and were escorted from the camp that the rec department was doing. I thought it was a really great way for two different organizations to work in conjunction with each other. And I just want to give kudos to Mr. Crouch and his team.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tammy. We always appreciate the good news you always bring us. Yes.
Hi, I'm back. I'm Carla Scheer, SC Telecom, and I just wanted to address the progress of our construction project and acknowledge a couple of things that have been brought to my attention, and I know that have been maybe some headlines or some subject matter of text messages, phone calls, or otherwise. I know that there was also a letter sent on behalf or from a Pratt resident to the city manager regarding a specific concern on his property. And I just wanted to address those things right quick.
Okay.
Not specific to any individual or name that specific property owner, but let you know that obviously our preferred construction method with our project is buried fiber, meaning fiber in the ground. We are putting that fiber wherever possible in all of the utility easement that is already within the city. Our intent obviously is to add value to the property, not diminish anyone's property values. There are certain situations where we are well within those specific property or utility easements, but it is not aesthetically pleasing per se to the property owners. And while we are trying to address those and have a certifiably amenable conclusion to any conversation that comes as a result. The last thing I wanted to say is we really appreciate the opportunity to do business in Pratt and to let you all know that we will be occupying space again on Main Street. We have signed the lease with Robert Smiley for the office space at 216 South Main, and hope to be open in a retail session or a retail situation first week of May in a soft launch, if you will, just to be truly local and easy to do business with, and then have some open house and further conversation about how easy we can be available to the general public. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. All righty. With that being said, we will now move into reports. Regina Goff, City Manager.
I'm just going to mention a few things. One is Tara will be here on Wednesday to finish year-end stuff. If you have any questions about the financial reports in your packet that you want to address with her or just ask her about, she's always very pleasant, and she'll be here on Wednesday. The Neighborhood Revitalization Program Bill 2470, right?
Yeah.
Is-
Oh,
Go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say that during my report,
Okay,
but
I'll let Kyle say it. But it's making progress. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say. Okay, and you say the rest.
thank you.
You're welcome. And then, so today is Cody Smith's last meeting with us, last commission meeting with us, and I know I speak for all of the department heads when I say we're going to miss him terribly. He has served the city well, and he's been a tremendous blessing to me and to our community. But I am glad for him that he gets to be closer to his children and his wife and not have all the commute time in Hutchinson. So we wish you the very best, and thank you for your service here. I have received 2 resumes from attorneys who are interested in serving as our city attorney, and I think that what I'm going to do, I have reached out to both of them and asked them if there is a day that they can come and spend some time here so that you guys can come in and visit with them and have maybe an informal interview, not in violation of COMA, so just 1 or 2 at a time. And so I will be reaching out via email and letting you know when those 2 candidates will be here so that we can get them going. I don't want you to be nervous about even if we don't have an officially appointed city attorney, we will have an attorney here sitting in at our commission meetings, filling that spot. I did that. I had to do that for a couple of months while we were waiting for the charter ordinance to be passed to allow me to serve, and so we'll have adequate attorney coverage. It won't be as good as Cody ever, I'm sure, but we'll have somebody here. That's what I have.
Okay, perfect. Any other things for Regina? Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, Public Works, Mr. Shanline.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This week I have submitted the cost share application for the 6th Street extension to the state. That is a preliminary application, so we're hoping to see something back from them in the next few months. Joel Kroschel with EBH is currently working on the C-CLIP application for the South Main project for 2829 from 6th to 8th to get that put to concrete. Cody, Lola, and I have been working on revisions to the ordinance for weed and yard maintenance for future enforcement. That'll probably be on the next commission agenda. Water department currently is short-handed. Kelvin is continuously checking applications. Thank you for approval on well 18 future site. Kelvin has placed orders for materials for the point utilities, water and sanitary sewer. So as soon as we have final drawings on that, we will start moving forward with the installation of the utilities out there. Wastewater is seriously fighting sickness. We're down to 1 employee out there, and I'm making frequent visits to make sure Lance has got a handle on it. More to follow when I'm allowed to say on that.
Will you keep that sickness down there, please?
I am staying away from the sick ones. I did check on the sick individual today, and he's resting well. Other than that, plant maintenance at the wastewater and just keeping it rolling with 1 guy. Street department, Nick and I went to Garden City on Monday and saw the asphalt recycler. I was extremely impressed with that. The quality of the product and the speed it puts it out is impressive.
Jeff, does it heat it back up?
It does.
Okay.
It takes the recycled millings, it brings it back to full 350 degree plus temperature, and depending on the quality of millings, you do or do not have to add the additive that returns it back to hot mix.
Okay.
They do sell the product that brings it back to hot mix, and it literally comes out just like it would from a hot mix plant. It'll make approximately 4 tons an hour,
Okay.
which is more than enough for patching and
Awesome.
thermal crack repair, which is what we're targeting. You may.
Sorry. So, I know that you guys know that we've been working on trying to discover new technologies for our street department. In my certified public managers class that we, that you guys approved me to take, that is the strategic plan that I'm working on for my capstone project, is a 10-year strategic plan to address our deteriorating street conditions. And so, so Jeff and Nick have been working with me on new technologies and research to make sure that we have a plan in place, because that we had three major, the three primary priorities in the city: the water treatment plant, which we recently bought ground for, the electric generation modernization, which we are moving forward with, and the third one is the deteriorating streets. And so this is how we're addressing that.
So Jeff, if this is an option down the road to purchase this, is it something that the street department could handle street by street?
It doesn't produce enough volume in a short enough amount of time to do that. But
Okay.
it will give us the ability to properly and more long-term make the patches.
Okay.
So that we can come back in and do a chip seal repair over the top and maintain the streets that are good. We will still probably have to contract the mill and overlay projects for the larger, terribly under-maintained streets. But the ones that are able to be maintained, we'll be able to maintain better.
Okay.
And it's encouraging that this technology has come out, and so hopefully, in short order, there will be newer technology that perhaps would enable us to do
Affordable.
more volume. Affordably, yes.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, when our guys can do something, though, it's a lot less expensive than contracting it
Right,
out.
right.
On that same subject, Nick and I are currently mapping out the streets all over town to prioritize repairs so that we're going to have a visual reference as to what has been repaired and what still needs to be repaired. And I'm going back through all of Russ's old documents to see what in the last 10 years has been mill and overlaid, chip sealed, and we can continue down the list from there. Sanitation, I'm happy to announce Dylan Armstrong has passed his CDL, and now he is a driver operator in the department. And Clayton Suter and Curtis Rada have both begun their CDL training out there. I am not so happy to report that one of the trucks is in Southwest Truck Parts for repair. It has a radiator issue. It is understood that it should be back in a couple of days. So we do have a backup truck, so we're not limited on our service. Parks Department is working on bench repair, signs, and yard work. It's coming into that time of year that's what they're going to be doing every day, is they've already had the mowers out once. Cemetery, Jeff Gilmore is off this week. I understand they have one scheduled funeral already, but Mike Wardlow has that under control, and I'm checking on him a couple times. And other than that, I have nothing to report.
Okay. Any questions for Jeff? All right.
I would like to comment what a great job Jeff is doing as the Public Works Director. He's really,
Yeah.
really got things under control, and I'm very proud of him.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Public Work, not Public Works, or did Public Works. Building Inspector, Mr. Walker.
Thank you. Last week I mailed out 7 certified mails for nuisance property. Those are like the ending. We've been dealing with them, so this is like get it done or we're going to clean it up type of deal. Did a fire suppression test. It was like a preliminary one. I didn't do the ending one. I believe Todd did. Todd was busy, so I went ahead and did it. They saw cut the wall. It was in between the old Woody's building, and they actually cleaned it up today. They took it down. I spoke with an individual last week that they had bought the mobile home park in the southeast part,
Thank goodness.
and they have plans to bring. I believe they're gonna do it in phases. I believe they're gonna get rid of 10 and bring 10 in. I guess 10 or 15. I'll have to look and see, but dealt with a zone violation on South Main. Had 3 concrete inspections, 2 roof, and 1 sewer. That's it.
Any other questions for Robert? Okay. Keep up the good work, sir.
Thanks.
All righty. Electrical Department, Mr. Huber.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've had a lot going on in the last 2 weeks. I'll start with Unit 7. We had some issues with it. Getting Fairbanks Morris in to work on those units is nearly impossible. And 2 weeks ago, we finally got a call into them. They sent a technician out the next day. So we jumped on that, and he came out and got fixed on Unit 7. Well, of course, as I've mentioned over the years, if you shut one of these units off, when you go to fire back up, something else is breaking, just by sitting. So now Unit 6 is down. We had KMEA come in today. They looked at it, narrowed down the problem. We have a sensor that we're going to have to replace. We don't know if we can get one, but we have a run. We're going to run untied this next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from the grid because Sunflower is doing some maintenance out on their substation on West River Road. If we have to, we're also getting Unit 5, which is our steam turbine, prepared in case we need to run it if we can't get 6 fixed. So we got all these things going on. The plant guys are going crazy. I have Evan working on bids for, to back the story up a little bit. With them being diesel, they have 2 diesel tanks that sit outside. They've been there for 30-some years. Tony got into them and found about a foot and a half of sludge at the bottom of these tanks. We believe that's what most of the problem is trying to draw all the nasty stuff into the unit. So we need to have the tanks drained, cleaned, taken care of, inspected. We got a hold of 2 different companies. I said, just come out and give us a quote on them. It was pretty astronomical. So we're taking this now, and he's working on putting a bid together so we can get some costs. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, it may be looking in the direction of buying new tanks instead of having because it's really expensive. So we'll address that when that time comes. Like I said, we're going to be running this week. The line department, they're busy as always, changing stuff. Yesterday's wind that we had was pretty relentless. Fortunately, we only had 1 primary pull break and 2 secondary pulls. People's back doors that broke. We only had 1 outage, and it was a line that slapped together. So it's already been addressed and taken care of. The other thing that we do have going on is our chipper. Basically self-destructed a couple of weeks ago, so I sent it to Wichita to get worked on. They sent it back to the factory, so we'll see what that's going to cost and how long that's going to take. But he's assured me it's going to be under $10,000. A new one was $54,000, so I looked into that. I was like, well, maybe I'll just get a new one. But we'll get it fixed. They assured me it will work. But when the thing came apart, some of the blades came off of it, and all of it destroyed the whole outer casing of the thing, which is, it did its job instead of killing somebody, it kept it self-contained and just a lot of other little things are going on. With the weather coming up this week, it's going to be nicer. We're getting a lot of stuff done. We have Chris Nagley coming in. He's the utility help. He's the engineer for our power plant substation projects that we've got coming up. So he'll be here this week. We're going to sit down with him and see if we can get started on these projects. So I'd like to do what we can and hopefully by this August we'll have 3 units in there. So a lot going on. So there's going to be a lot more.
Okay.
Other
Any questions for Jamie?
If you said it, I didn't hear it. How old was that chipper?
5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, to me, that's not very old, but when I looked at the hours, I think we had almost 800 hours on it already. Because it gets used almost daily. So right now we're down. They assured me they could get it back to me in 3 weeks. So it's going to Minnesota, I think, and then they'll get it back and we'll be back operational.
Any other questions for Jamie? All right, thank you, sir. All right, Rec Department, Mr. Crouch.
Thank you, Mayor. We just did our soccer team registrations, sign-ups, got all the teams drafted, all the coaches assigned. We got 14 total teams for that soccer league. That's going to be Saturday mornings in April out at the Keller Sports Complex. Baseball season, softball season is underway. So Skyline softball, baseball, Pratt High baseball, softball, they play at all of our facilities, so they've all started practice. Skyline will start games next week, and then Pratt High will be the following week. Our baseball tournament, March 28th, 29th, is full. We're at 40 teams. We turned that off a week and a half or so ago, and we still have teams calling every day to get in. So that's a great problem to have. The windows are moving along at the municipal building. The first set of external doors got put in. The stage doors should be put in this week as well. And then all the glass external doors will be put in once the windows are done. The point updates, we got some permits back as approved. Some are still, we're awaiting those. The exterior design is getting closer. The interior layout and design is pretty much about done. Do want to say thanks to all the different departments that are working on that project. There's a lot of them. Also the street department, they came and sealed all of our parking lot out at Green and Keller, and then the linemen are doing some light pole work for us as well. As she mentioned, we do have the spring break camp going on right now. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week from 8 to noon. And then thanks to the Elks for their Bookworm Bistro, they're feeding all the kids for us, so that's a big help. We also are going to be looking at putting some batting cages, another set of batting cages in at Green. Right now we have the two sets, the one that's by Smoky and then the one that's on Pinkle. Those are great, but those are pretty much reserved and off limits till about 7 o'clock every night due to the high schools practicing there. So that doesn't leave much time for the younger kids to have any batting cage use. So we're looking at putting another set of batting cages in to allow some more practice time for non-high school use. So that's all I got.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Any other questions for Justin? All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll now move to Fire Department. Chief Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Business as usual. We did do a pipeline safety awareness class a couple weeks ago, and they actually had a drawing for some donation money to go to the department. And one of our gentlemen that signed up last, Mr. Crouch, was the great winner of that. So we've got some training money, got $1,000 from them that they donated to the department. So, yeah, one of the last guys to sign up, and he ended up winning. But yeah, we appreciated them for everything they did there. We did have an unauthorized burn that was on West 10th a couple days ago. It was pretty much right on the city limit line. And I went out and double checked with him and talked to the homeowner there, and he thought that was probably a better idea that he go ahead and put it out instead of especially with the winds that we had come
Yeah.
up. So thankfully he did, and he agreed with me, but we got that under control with him. This weekend, March 21st, we invited a bunch of other fire departments from other surrounding departments here to come and train with us on Saturday.
Okay.
So I've got a few responses back from that. They want to come back and try out the training center, and we'll get it set up. We'll probably end up doing that Wednesday, get it set up for some different scenarios and such, and get that going. So we'll do some training there on Saturday. And then, as Robert had mentioned earlier, I did the fire alarm system, just double checked it at the Catholic church there. Everything good to go.
Perfect. Awesome. Any other questions for Chief Hoffman? All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, City Attorney, Mr. Smith, your final one.
I have nothing. Just kidding. Just kidding. As Regina said, this is my last meeting, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank the commission for trusting me to be your city attorney for the last 2 years or so, a little over now. I have truly enjoyed it. I want to thank all the department heads and staff. Truly enjoyed working with everybody here. I've enjoyed the nature of the work. I've enjoyed the friendships and just being able to work on projects that are meaningful and being able to, I just feel like we've just really accomplished a lot here in a short amount of time. And that's not something someone who works in the law can always say, that we've accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. It's generally a profession where things take a little while. So I'm proud of that, and I'm proud to be a part of what the city's done, over the time that I've been here. I will be here for 2 more weeks. I have 2 more court dates that I'm appearing for. I'll be working on a memorandum for the incoming city attorney, just to lay out kind of the pending matters or unfinished business, just so he or she can kind of help hit the ground running, so to speak. I'll also be available to discuss that with whomever takes the position. One of the nice things about the city attorney world and just municipal practice in general is there's a good community where we all, from different cities, help each other out when we kind of run into things we've never run across before. There's a good chance that someone else in another city has, and so I've talked to Regina about, if anything comes up in the future, I'm just a phone call away and be happy to help in whatever way I can going forward. So with that, I just, will say thank you again. I really appreciated it, and I'll be around for a little bit longer.
Well, we're glad you'll be around just for another 2 more weeks. But Cody, I'll say you've done a great job, and we appreciate it. And Hutchinson is so lucky to get you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Best
you.
wishes.
All right, any other things for Cody? All right. Okay, Finance Department, Miss Eastis.
I don't have anything.
Okay, all right. City Clerk, Miss Garten.
Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I was at City Clerk Conference last week, one step closer to graduation from the CCMFLA Institute. I should graduate in November, pending any issues that may, no, I'm just kidding. But I should graduate from that in November, and then I'll work on getting my CMC, so I can put that title by my name. I don't think it does anything additionally. Also, our utility billing clerk is beginning to attend some grant writing training opportunities.
Awesome.
So she's very excited about it. It starts starts this Thursday. And she'll have assignments and things over the course of the next 3 months. So she's excited. We're all excited. And I know Jeff's already been talking to her about some grant opportunities. So we're moving forward with that. I believe that is all I have to share today.
Perfect. Any questions for Bree?
Did you hire another Public Works person?
Question, I don't think this is working.
Here's another one.
That's okay. Thank you. So I haven't officially hired anyone yet, but I did narrow it down to a few candidates, and I do think that we have a great opportunity with either one. So I should have a formal announcement at the next meeting, hopefully.
Good.
Perfect. Any other things for Bree? All right. With that being said, we'll move to Mayor Report, and the big thing, of course, is the NRP. The bill did get through the Senate committee last Thursday, Friday, so it is now on the Senate floor. It will be, unfortunately, the Senate is on short amount of time, but the unfortunate side is the bill will be attached to another bill, but it is from what I've been told, is that it will be put to a non-controversial bill that will allow the NRP to go through the Senate, and hopefully then will be signed by Governor Kelly, and then we will be able to put the NRP issue to bed.
Thank goodness.
So that is where we're at right now. I talked to a few people, so we're very excited that, and I would like to also thank Cody for going up both times to Topeka, to the House Committee and the Senate Committee. And then, of course, you did telecom on the Senate Committee one a week later and all that, but also Tyson Eisenhower as well went up there. So it's been a joint effort with the city and county, but this is a big thing that this will not just solve our issue here in Pratt County, but across the entire state. So I'd just like to say thank you to everyone involved in that, and it's awesome that this will finally, hopefully, be put to bed, knock on wood. Gina, I pretty much covered everything on that, right?
Uh-oh, no.
I'm just making sure.
No, you did a great job. Yes, I do think you did a great job. I'm not sure that Tyson traveled. I think that Tyson may have done it
okay.
WebEx. But,
Okay.
But yeah, both county attorney and city attorney did a great job.
Yeah.
County counselor and
County
city
counselor,
attorney
yeah.
did a great job.
All right, awesome. Other than that, though, the only thing I have left is the executive session, but we will first go to commissioner reports. Commissioner Hostetler, anything?
No.
Commissioner Myers, Commissioner Siemens, Mr. Blankenship. All right. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion that I move the city council recess into executive session with the city administrator, the city attorney. Is there anyone else that we need to add on to this, Gina, by the way?
Robert?
Okay. With the building inspector and anyone else?
No, can we have a 5-minute?
Yes, we will. So Again, I'll just repeat this motion. Again, I move that the city council recess into executive session with the city manager, the city attorney, and the building inspector to discuss matters related to employee with the city pursuant to a non-elected personnel exemption to KSA 75-431A-B1. The open meeting will resume in city council chambers in 30 minutes, but with that, since we will take a 5-minute break, we will resume back at 6:55.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we go into executive session for non-elected personnel, and we'll return at 6:55 p.m. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Like to make a motion that we come out of executive session with nothing to report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we come out of executive session with nothing to report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. With that being said, is there anything else we need to discuss? If not, I'll make a motion that we adjourn for the evening.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn for this evening. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye.